at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Good morning. Yeah, here we go, folks. We are full speed ahead, getting into a brand new week and a brand new month and a beautiful, beautiful one at that. Weather looking gorgeous. The sun is shining. Lots of it in the forecast. The details on that on the way. Speaking of the headlines, are they sunny or full of clouds? Well, some of that is perspective. But I want to get into the latest stories, the ones you won't hear anywhere else. The ones you'll be talking about around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Our Big Three starts now.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Our good friends Dave Calloway at Heartland Home Mortgage powering this segment each and every day. Dave, weighing in last week on the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, being installed. Of course, he was sworn in. What happens to interest rates? We're keeping an eye on that. Great conversation. If you missed it, check the podcast, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you download your podcast. JustinBarkley.com, Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter Locals, YouTube, you name it. We got them all. And by the way, we stream live today and every day. All of those platforms. And if you want to buy, refi, home equity line of credit, now may be the time, especially as you look at the interest rates and credit card debt, all of that. You probably want to clean that up. And now may be a good time for you to get that done, as so you see things getting tighter. We've got costs of gas and everything else. Although we do have some good news on the horizon with all of it. Maybe now's the time to take care of it. Heartland Home Mortgage can walk you through that process. Dave and the team have a heart of a teacher, really want to make sure that you get what you need and when you need it. HHMlending.com. They're faster. They're better than the big banks. Reach out today and tell them I sent you. Hey, just relax. Sit back and relax. That's what Trump is saying. It's all going to work out in the end. In fact, he says it always done. That's his message. It always does anyway. The president talking about the war in Iran, and particularly in that message on social media, on Truth, he points out there's a lot of critics out there that are costing him some points when it comes to dealing with these folks in Iran right now. He says, all this criticism, it's unnecessary. Some of the doomers, gloomers, the black pillar chicken little sky is falling folks. And by the way, I think his foreign influenced a lot of it too. It's okay to be apprehensive. It's okay to take issue with policies and even strategies. But the way some have gone about it, you have to really makes you wonder. Anyway, this comes after tensions and the negotiations tend to develop here over the weekend. The Iranian president has submitted a letter of resignation to the supreme leader, which is what I've kind of told you all along. There's a couple of things happening behind the scenes that's making this tougher to get to. This deal, this actual ink drying on the paper kind of thing. And then they have to live up to it, which is a whole nother piece. But he reportedly submitted his resignation letter to Iran's current supreme leader, citing the IRGC hardliners sidelining civilian government from key decisions. That after there was a little back and forth between both Iran and the U.S. this weekend, and the latest on that coming up too. Hang on for number two. It's a violent weekend here in Grand Rapids, and I hate to see it after we have such a big opening with that beautiful Acrisure Amphitheater, all the things that folks can do downtown, especially as things warm up. Well, that's kind of when the violence heats up as well. In multiple incidents. On Saturday, police fatally shot a man after he threw a Molotov cocktail at officers. This is just like out of a movie. Threw a Molotov cocktail at officers, stabbed a canine, and charged with a knife. That was the last mistake he made during a domestic call response. And I can't imagine, obviously, praying for the folks that had to respond to this, the police, the dog. Still no update on the dog. Maybe we can find out what the details are there. And then the man and his family. Interim Chief Joe Trigg talking about it over the weekend with his comment.
You got a subject that's armed with knives. He's made some threats towards family. Our concern is to get the family out of the home, which we were doing that, and I think we were successful at that. And we're going to slow things down and try to de-escalate this so no one gets harmed. But, he fled the house at that point and then putting a lot of our citizens at risk. And of course, that's why we got the foot pursuit, and we try to engage in, once again, trying to do the less lethal options to try to de-escalate and bring some resolve to this.
Nobody wants to see this type of thing happen, but again, when it does, you have to respond appropriately. And boy, the way, this is not the only thing that happened over the weekend. There was a shooting, I think, and another stabbing. Stabbing on Albany Street, Southwest, victim injured, suspect in custody, and shootings early, was it Monday morning on Francis Avenue. That was last night, I guess. And then a shooting at Rosa Parks Circle that took place over the weekend as well, as they are searching for at least 3. Their description doesn't necessarily give me hope that they're going to find them. But, folks, this is serious violence in this community in West Michigan. And we ought to take it seriously. And I'll talk further on this here in a minute.
Number 3.
Some details on what I believe needs to happen. Next, a group of Michigan residents suing a data center over constant noise. This is in Dowagiac. And in fact, it is a federal lawsuit now.
That's the sound of a hyperscale data center here in Dowagiac, Michigan. I'm Emma Brott with 16 News Now. Now today I've been talking to residents who are telling me just how loud this place is. Right now there's a class action lawsuit
like a bunch of drones or something, like,
alleging that these loud noises are affecting 1,300 residents within a 1-mile radius of this hyperscale data center. A resident living just across the street from this data center tells me he's bought a decibel reader just to see how loud it is on an average day.
Right there, it's going between 61 and 64 decibels without us talking.
Yeah, if we can hear it here through the music and everything else, that report online, you can bet it is pretty darn loud. 2 homeowners filing that federal class action lawsuit claiming the 24/7 hum measured it, like he said, 58 to 62 decibels, invades homes, causes headaches, prevents yard use, affecting over 1,300 nearby properties. The company, Alliance Cloud Services, actually planning a major expansion there. Unless it's to put, some earmuffs on the thing or whatever. I mean, get out of town. Are you serious? Well, folks, this is one of the bigger conversations people are having right now across the state and in 2026 as it continues to heat up. We'll bring you stories like this and more. In fact, I got more from this on the way. First, let's get into it. We'll give you a chance to weigh in on the conversation at any time as we kick off the week. And as I said, the new month, it's West Michigan Live. Used a talkback feature on the MKD Funeral Home, helping us out with that at an iHeartRadio app. That's that little microphone button, or you could do it the old-fashioned way on the phone.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Just imagine trying to sit outside. It's like I live outside in the summer. I just absolutely love it. Try to imagine sitting outside next to this.
That resident tells me it's been affecting his wife's health and also his pregnant neighbor's health as well, giving her headaches if she stays outside too long just because of how loud it is.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm getting a little bit of a headache just listening to the TV report on the radio here. These people have to live next to that. Look, I'm not saying they're all bad. I know there's different ways that they do this, but this is just one concern, and that's a noise concern that folks have had about these data centers. And I guess the biggest issue is rushing or racing into something without taking all of these different issues into consideration. It's a big problem. Now, I understand why we're doing it. I understand the the race to be first. It's kind of like the nuclear race, right? But at the same time, I don't know about you. I just think we ought to know what we're getting into before we sign off on all this stuff. Midwesterner's got this report, by the way, if you want to check it out at themidwesterner.news. But I can't imagine living next to something like that. And then, having to buy like a decibel meter to figure out, okay, how loud is this thing? I mean, let's get this on record so we can figure it out. How absolutely horrifying. This is just a tragic scenario. Here's another report, some more audio, and the guy with the decibel meter interview here.
Yes, it's constant like this all the time. It's not, I'd say it's not as loud maybe at night, but it's still a constant all the time. It's a constant anywhere from 58 decibels up to 62 decibels constantly. We can't even sit outside and enjoy the porch. And we can't open our windows because we get the noise coming in from the windows and stuff.
Oh.
I would warn people they got to beware of it. If somebody tells you that there's not going to be a lot of noise or it's not going to have an impact, no. There's always going to be impact no matter where the data centers are going to be.
So I think that's probably the biggest piece is that you have to, it's just common sense. There's going to be something. Tammy in the chat online, by the way, we're chatting. Facebook, Twitter, X, we'll get our locals YouTube, where the behind the screen live stream happens. And Tammy said, it almost sounds like airport. Well, I live by an airport, and it doesn't sound like that. And the thing about airports is, the planes come and go. This thing is a constant. And while you may not necessarily want to hear a plane here and there, hearing that 24/7, and folks, again, this is just something we'll be talking about more of this as the days go on here. But this is just something that's going to continue to develop because this data center issue, and particularly in places like Michigan, where we have, the state government saying, yeah, we're going to give you a tax break, and townships jumping in on that too. And they do. It's part of the reason why they're coming. The other thing is the water, access to the water. But, then you got the noise pollution. You got questions about EMF, which I think people are rightful to ask these questions about. And then after you're all said and done, you sweat, wait a minute, is this thing going to make my power bill go up? What's this going to do? I'm already paying like an arm and a leg, right, for my power right now. What's this going to do at the end of the day? And all of these questions I think are valid. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do these at all or anywhere or any way. I'm just saying, look, we ought to know what we're getting into before we get into it. And again, some might call me crazy, radical. But I think that's just rational. It's truth, logic, and common sense at work, folks. And more of it. On the way this morning, we'll gear you up. Yep, you can join us, of course, at any time on the phone lines. Love to hear from you. Give you a chance to weigh in. Doug Lee, our good friend from Jam and Bean, coffee and ice cream and maple syrup and tea and you name it. Doug's got something delicious for everybody. But he's also running for state senate. And he'll join us, the latest candidate, talk about education, one of the biggest issues for him, but also some of these other big things that I think are really important this election year. And they can't get drowned out because of, look, I know all the national noise is quite loud in itself, but things right here matter, I think, even more right here in our own backyard at home than they do far away in the swamp in D.C. So those stories and more, plus you after this as we continue right here on West Michigan Live to kick off the week. Good morning.
Breaking down the story. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM. Heart Radio app.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Monday, June 1st. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story as attorneys work to sort out a variety of issues involving wildly unpopular tolls on two Bay City bridges. The area's Congresswoman, Democrat Kristen McDonald-Rivet, is working to downplay her role in the debacle. Full details for you at the Midwesterner.news. College Republicans at Michigan State are objecting to a university requirement that student organization officers acknowledge responsibilities related to DEI. The organization on X says it will refuse to sign any agreement to enforce DEI policies, and the MSU College Republicans say that Michigan State must end this ideological brainwashing and allow freedom of thought on campus. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Hi, I'm Congressman John Molinar. Although the crisis at the southern border is...
All right, folks, welcome into Behind the Scenes live stream. We are rolling full steam ahead. Going to the phones, coming back here in a little bit. Going to talk to you. And like I said, we got lots going on today and an after show you won't want to miss. It was a big and active weekend yet again, and some of that is not great news, obviously. But we want to make sure you stay up to date with it all. All right, Patriot Dean, JJ, good to see you. Thank you so much, Michigan Joe. The VIPs over on the Freedom Fam today. 3 grandchildren, good to see you too. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Sayla, I think I said, did I say Karen yet? Hemi, good to see you. Is Gritter in? Anybody see Gritter? Somebody check on Gritter. Over on Rumble, Tree Frog, Julianne, Ginger, such a time as this. History, good to see you. Dominic, having a cup of Doug's coffee in my kitchen right now. That's very cool. We'll have to let him know. Jackie Ray, thank you so much. D1P, Beasley. Shalecki, I'm not sure if I said your name right. I apologize. BK, Schmalzy, good to see you guys. Facebook this morning, the Bookers are hanging out. We got the Bookers on blast here. Tina, good to see you. Adele, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jessica, Joanne, Bonnie, Jason, Tammy, Michelle, Nathan, Sherry, Mike. Thank you, guys. Mike, congratulations, by the way, on your progress. Mike is down, I think he said like 30, 40 pounds, and his wife is too. My Pure Health Solutions, healthwithjustin.com. We're all in the fight. I'm getting ready to start another phase myself, and man, I can't wait to tell you all about it. But they've got an America 250 program going on right now where you can save 25%. Healthwithjustin.com or call 269-4044. Do it today. Hang on, folks. Back after it. Phone calls coming up in just a moment. You can jump on 616-774-2424. Quickly take a look at the markets. This is pre-open, by the way. Futures up. We got some green there. And then, but wait, there's more. The futures have turned red as oil's taken a little bit of a jump. I think 3%. Let me see. Again, there's questions on this Iran deal. So let's see. About almost 4.5%. WTI Brent 3.83. But again, no matter what the markets do, we know it's a roller coaster ride up and down. We've seen that, especially with this Iran thing and the oil, et cetera. But the question really is, are you prepared no matter what happens? And the folks at Talon Wealth want to make sure that you can. Mike Lester and the team, they want to make sure you get to where you want to go when you want to get there. Look, it doesn't matter when you want to retire, whether it's today or tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road. Mike Lester and the team want to help you do that. Just that. So anyway, you can reach out today, 616-661-1000, or go online to guardingyournestegg.com. But I do it today before it's too late. Make sure that you're well prepared and well positioned. Kathy's up next on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Kathy. Welcome into West Michigan Live.
Good morning.
You are
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. You are live on the air.
Okay. Regarding the data centers, I definitely understand the negatives, but from what I have learned, the raise in your electric bill could be as little as 3/100ths of a penny a month. My concern isn't the cost of monetarily, but the cost of availability of the energy, because the data centers are going to be draining what little resources we have.
Yeah, that's definitely I see that as a big possibility as well, and another concern. But I would also say, hey, I don't think not only will you not see maybe the access to the energy that you need, like when you need it, but I think that drives prices up too. So I think they say that the prices won't go up, but if they need more energy, and look, and by the way, very, very good point. Thank you, Kathy, for the call. But what I think is, if they're going to put these in, and the part of the solution is us having a conversation about it, but they're going to put these in, we got to talk this through. And these are things that need to be brought up and discussed. And one of the things I think, and I've heard Trump point this out, but I think they ought to power themselves. Whatever that looks like. And I think there's a number of different ways. In fact, I've heard modular nuclear talked about. That's a whole nother thing about whether anybody wants that in their backyard or not. But it seems like that might be a more safer way to handle it. However, again, this conversation needs to happen, and the people that are living right there got to have this stuff in their own backyard. They've got to be the ones calling the shots. It's just that simple. Back with more Bottom of the Hour news after this. Hang on.
Setting the record straight. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Before you spend $50.
Good morning, John. Good to see you. John's over on the tube. All right. All right, folks, stand by. Got Bottom of the Hour news kicking off here in just a moment. And by the way, if you're new here and this is your first time, this is the behind the scenes live stream. So we do the radio show here. It's from 9 to 10 each weekday here on West Michigan Live in Grand Rapids. And we cover a wide range of topics, not just obviously the things that are happening here locally throughout the state, but nationally as well. We'll get into all that stuff because, it does. It impacts us all. But we also give you a chance to jump in that conversation as well, whether it's on the chat or of several other ways. All right. Let me, if I may, show you the latest, and I know this is gonna they're gonna talk. This is gonna be big, and they're gonna talk about this. Who knows what's gonna happen? But that race in California and L.A. We'll dig in more, I think, probably during the after show. But Spencer Pratt is polling, I think, finally at or just above Karen Bass. Now, this is the three-way race, and in order for this thing for somebody to actually win it, somebody has to get more than 50% of votes. That doesn't seem possible. Although, who knows? But it then turns into a runoff. I think the top two is how this works if they don't get 50% of the votes. That being said, they're finding some shenanigans happening. Oh, you don't say. Shenanigans out in California in an election? These are the latest reports.
Vote by mail ballots were found burned inside a ballot box in Los Angeles just 2 days before the California primaries. Election officials discovered the damaged ballots, and they filed a report with the police department. They say a separate voting center was also vandalized. Investigators are looking into both incidents and are working to identify any voters who have been affected. And the United States men's soccer vote.
There you have it. Who knows? Hey, something weird going on with Facebook? Are you guys seeing some weird things there? I just noticed that it seems like the chat stopped, and it was also like right after Lori said something about there being an issue. Well, let me check. Let me check real quick. I was just going to ask you to share this thing, but if there's a problem. Okay, so now I'm seeing, but it's just not showing up for some reason. Okay. We can fix that, or we can work around it either way. But it's probably a good time to remind you. Help us. We're dealing with our own shenanigans of a different sort in some way. Help us break the algorithm. Help us cut through the noise and get the truth, logic, and common sense out there to people that need it most right now. You can, if you share the program, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, X, we'll get our locals, but certainly Facebook helps. Meta's kind of funny that way. Anyway, we would love to have you be a part of that. If you go to justinbarkley.com/store, anything in the store, a tee, a hoodie, a mug, somebody from the end of the show here, somebody that helps share is going to get something cool. So I will, I'll make sure if you share, sharing is caring. That's what we tell the girls anyway. Sharing is caring. If you share, we're going to get you something cool from inside the store. So again, justinbarkley.com, do some shopping. And this week, it looks like, I think everything sort of lines up. It looks like this week we're going to have some America 250 gear, folks, coming your way. America 250 gear. So anyway, look out for that, especially for dads and grads, just in time for Father's Day. Very cool. All right. Anyway, back on the air here in just a moment. Let me check this out real quick. Make sure that looks good. Ba-da-da-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Here we go.
Visit exteriorsbypremier.com.
Hey, it's Justin Barkley here. Thinking about selling your home or helping mom or dad sell theirs? Start with Kevin Yoder's Seller Options Review. Kevin's team will show you what the home could sell for, what to fix, what to skip, and the best path. List, move first, guaranteed sale, or instant offer. Before you sign with anyone, know your options. Call or text 616-303-5671. That's 616-303-5671, or visit soldbyyoder.com/wood. Yoder Real Estate, brokered by LPT Realty.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barkley. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Back after it, folks, from the Good Feet store. Powering this program today and every day. We thank them and all their contributions, not just to the program, but man, I got to tell you, I feel like $1 million. Thanks to the folks at the Good Feet store. Part of it is the weather. I got to tell you, it's incredible. I'm looking at the forecast on, again, another gorgeous day. We'll get up to 78. It hit 80 this weekend. It looks like 80, 81 Thursday. Yeah, we're going to be flirting with it on Wednesday. Lots of sunshine. Anyway, it's time to get out and enjoy it. Maybe do all those things you've been putting off for a while outside. Maybe do the things that you've been putting off for a while because of what you're dealing with, whether it's foot, leg, back issues. We've seen the folks at the Good Feet store can help you with that Good Feet arch support, the personalized arch support system. I've seen it myself, and you've been hearing me talk about these guys for like years now. And there's a reason for that. It's because they keep me on the go. They keep me feeling fresh. And I got to tell you, you can do everything that you've been putting off for so long, whether it's work or play, with comfort and confidence. If you walk into the Good Feet store today, go see them on 28th Street, right in front of Costco, or in Westnedge in front of Kohl's at the Good Feet store, and tell them I sent you. Hey, next guest running for state senate here in Michigan is a man you may be familiar with. Doug Lee has the famous jam and bean with the coffee and the ice cream and the maple syrup and the tea and the just about anything you could find that you may love that's delicious. That chances are Doug has it. Doug, appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. How are you?
Oh, thanks, Justin. I just want to add one thing in the intro. I'm running for the House of Representatives in the 80th District and not the Senate. So there's two different
House of Representatives. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and let me make sure that clear for folks. It's which district is again with the House?
Yeah, it's the 80th District, which is for Cascade, East Grand Rapids, and parts of Kentwood.
There you have it. So folks, I'll give you a way to reach in. But Doug, I had to tell you before we get into all that. Somebody listening already when I was talking about you earlier this morning on our chat said, I'm sitting here sipping on some jam and bean coffee. I may have to vote for this guy. so Dominic says, yeah, I'm having a cup of Doug's coffee right now in my kitchen. You have my vote.
Dominic, he's a displaced New Yorker.
So he found some good coffee finally at your place, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, Doug, let's talk about this. I know, some of the things you're really passionate about. I've gotten to know you through the years, obviously, is education, a big piece of that puzzle. What are the things you're hearing and seeing from folks right now that are the biggest issues that they're dealing with on a daily basis?
Well, I think we'll look at it. You and I both are dads. I happen to be a grandpa with 5 grandkids now, but we all want the best for our kids and for our youth. And things about in Michigan that a lot of people don't know. There's 550 public school districts in Michigan, and we rank 45th in the nation. So that's pretty low on the totem pole as far as public education. And the caveat to that is we outspend them all. We got really nice buildings across the state, but we've got empty classrooms. The poorest state in Michigan is Mississippi, and it outranks us in education by far. School funding is, property is our biggest line items on our property taxes. And renters, they don't get to see the detail of how much of their rent is, paying for property taxes, but we're not getting our money's worth. I mean, we're basically delivering a subpar education to our youth. And I believe the future, and it's my campaign slogan, if we fix education, we can fix Michigan.
Well, I think there's no doubt about that because, what we're looking at, as you just mentioned, as a dad, as a grandparent, and I'm dealing with this right now with my girls, but they're the future. They're the future Absolutely. of what we're going to pass on here in Michigan, and what better way to make sure that the future is bright than to make sure that you're pouring into those kids. And look, I know you've been fighting this fight. What are the reasons? We just went through, in fact, I think it was Friday, we got a bunch of new details about these reports about how unfortunately we're like you just mentioned, the scores are in the tank. I mean, things are not good when it comes to some of these test scores and in all the metrics. And I just wonder, what are the things that can be done immediately to turn it around? What can we do to fix this thing?
Yeah. Well, it's not a difficult fix. We simply have to get back to academics. And every other month we get a mailing in locally here from the Forest Hills Focus, and our superintendent Kirby usually writes some type of statement. And they don't even hide this stuff anymore. But I want to read a statement, just a short statement from our superintendent. And he wrote, the district approach goes beyond academics with a focus on the whole child, including social, emotional, and physical well-being. So the curriculum that's adopted within the public school systems is called social emotional learning. And that's taken precedent over academics. So it's more about how you feel. Most people don't know that of these school districts, we've eliminated the valedictorian and salutatorians in our public schools back in 2017. And then when I tell people that had, adult children, they can't believe that actually did happen. And you have to ask yourself, why did they eliminate the valedictorian and salutatorian?
Right.
And they're really pushing out kids that, it's unfortunate to the kids that are really smart and want to achieve, but they lowered the standards. And so, kids that would not necessarily be a brainiac would be an A student today. And it's a shame because it's our future, just like you said, is education. That's the future leaders that are going to lead this country. It's going to save Michigan. Right now, parents have been pulling out kids at record levels. Homeschool groups are up. Private schools are up. Parents are waking up to this. And I'll give you an example right here in Forest Hills. And we got the best beautiful buildings. I mean, we tear buildings down that are 20 years old to put up new buildings. Okay. We have been on a 12-year consecutive decrease in student enrollment. So we've lost students every year for 12 years. This year was the first year we didn't lose students because across the state, Whitmer put in a program to put 4-year-olds in our schools.
Yeah.
And then to count those 4-year-olds in the enrollment numbers. So this year in Forest Hills, as most schools, we're up because of the 4-year-olds are in the program. But if it wasn't for that program, we would be on a 13-year decline. And the problem is they've never reduced their budgets. So they repurposed the empty classrooms. They turn classrooms into lockers for kids that they never had before. So it doesn't look like empty classrooms. But we're paying a lot of money to get our kids educated, and all we're doing is getting these nice buildings and our education. They're not focusing on the academics.
Yeah. We're talking with Doug Lee right now, who's running for the House, State House of Representatives here in Michigan. And Doug, I want to give people a chance while we're at it to know where to find you, because obviously they can walk into Jam and Bean and have a conversation with you. Obviously, that's pretty simple to do. Maybe have a cup of coffee, but what's the best way if people want to find out about you online and do a little digging and maybe even donate or volunteer?
Yeah, I think, well, right now, the way you get a hold of me, because I don't actually have a primary as a Republican on the ticket, that's one of the good news for me. But I've got a Facebook page set up, which is elect Doug Lee for state legislators Facebook page. You can like me there. I do post pretty much every day. My last year journey, I've been going to school board meetings across the state for 7 years. And I've been speaking at these school board meetings religiously. And I woke up in one of the meetings and I felt like, why am I doing this? I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall. I'm speaking out to the Board of Educations. I'm trying to support conservative board members to public schools. And I don't seem to have any impact to that. I can get elected a conservative school board member, but they end up they rubber stamp. They don't vote no on any of this stuff. They just keep doing the same old, which is it's very disheartening that actually happens. So I decided that, if I run for Congress in Lansing, there's 110 people, and I'll be one of those 110 people. But I've been very involved in education as I talk to people across the state. Most of the things I find they have no clue on. And I think one of the outcomes, and the sad outcomes that's happened as a result of this, is that families are divided. So if you have an adult kid and you have more than one, you're going to have different parameters and perspectives from those kids. And we have divided households. And it started out in the colleges. It started with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And, this social-emotional learning is what they're teaching. They're indoctrinating our kids. And it's dividing the parents. It's dividing the kids. And that's something we can bring back together because we spend a lot of money in it. We should focus on the education and leave the education to the schools, but leave the parenting left to the parents.
It seems pretty foundational, pretty obvious when you talk about it. But it is something that is missing. And I just wonder why that's been throughout the last several years. I guess it's because we've been so distracted with so many other things. But Doug, I know you're working to put it back on track. Like I said, if folks want to find Doug, Jam and Bean, obviously a great way to have a conversation with him while he's there. I know he's out shaking hands and talking to people. The fact you don't have a primary opponent is great news. You're going to go push straight to November, and obviously we'll have you back on to talk a little bit closer to your race when you get there. But again, if people want to find you on Facebook, just type in Elect Doug Lee, and you'll pop up. You got it. Well,
I'll get a web page going here shortly, but that's what I have right now.
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate it. And again, as I mentioned, I know you've been in a fight for a while now. This is nothing that you're stranger to this, but now you've got an opportunity to go and serve off in Lansing, and I know folks are going to get behind that. I appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for all you do, my friend.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Justin.
The ice cream, the coffee, and this. You got it, brother. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Doug Lee, making a difference and an impact, folks. We continue the conversation. You can join us, 616-774-2424. Back after this on West Michigan Live. Oh, I got some good news I got to share with you, too. Yeah, we'll get to all of that coming up. Don't go anywhere. We've been talking about my good friend Kevin Yoder for a while now. If you want to sell your home in West Michigan, Kevin's the go-to guy, I'm telling you, and he has been for decades. All of that expertise packed into one guy with a team that is willing to go the extra mile for you. If you're thinking about selling your home or helping mom or dad sell theirs, you want to start with Kevin Yoder's Seller Options Review, because it's going to answer the questions you've got. Look, Kevin's team will show you what the home you have could sell for, what to fix, and what to skip, because I know those are always questions I have. Yeah, okay, if we're going to sell, what do we do to get the best bang for a buck? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? He'll tell you, give you all those. That's the best path, really. List, move first, guarantee sale, or instant offer. He's got all these options on the table for you. That's because he's been doing it for decades. He knows the ins and outs. Look, before you sign with anyone, know your options. Call or text today at 616-303-5671. That's 616-303-5671. And reach out to my good friend Kevin Yoder today. He'll walk you through the process, hold your hand, make sure that you got somebody there that's on your team, and then get the job done, because that's really what you want. Kevin Yoder, Yoder Real Estate, brokered by LPT Realty. Reach out to Kevin today and tell him that I sent you. Kevin Yoder, Yoder Real Estate.
Setting the record straight. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Monday, June 1st. I'm Robin Kaufman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Will she or won't she be running for president in 2028? Mixed signals coming from Governor Whitmer during her remarks at the annual Mackinac Policy Conference. She tells reporters, I've got a lot of energy. I will be 55 when I leave office. So I want to have impact. I want to do good work. But I'm also looking forward to taking a little bit of a break and thinking about it, not just jumping right into something. In other news, college Republicans at Michigan State University are objecting to a university requirement that student organization officers acknowledge responsibilities related to DEI. The college Republicans saying in an X post that they will not comply and that Michigan State must end this ideological brainwashing and allow freedom of thought on campus. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Hi, I'm Congressman John Molinar. As the chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, I'm working in a bipartisan fashion.
All right, folks, full speed ahead, flying right on through the fastest hour in radio, and we're almost there. But don't fear. We have an after show still yet to get to, and we'll do that coming up here in just a moment. First, I don't know what's going on with Facebook today. If you guys can still hear me and see me, let me know. It looks like you can. But again, I don't I don't know. Who knows with Facebook anymore? It's so weird. It looks like we're good, but I just can't tell. It's not giving me. Normally all the chat and everything feeds through the software that I don't want to bore you with these details, but I can see everything all in one place. Well, it stopped. And then when I go in to look at Facebook, it doesn't update as quick as I would like it to. So if you can still hear me and see me, please let me know. That would be helpful. And while you're there, make sure you click share. Sharing is caring. Want to get you set up with something cool inside the Justin store. We're going to pick one person who shared today the broadcast. It's Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, you name it. We'll take one person, and somebody's going to win something cool from inside the Justin store. Then at the end, while we're done here, we get into the after show. I'll do a little refresh and click refresh on all this stuff, and then see maybe that'll help us kind of get the chat flowing again for us. Rumblers, I could still see you. Locals, I could still see you. Getters, I could still see you, and all of that's good. But like I said, I like to just see if we can get this thing fixed. You know. All right. That being said, I promised good news, and I do have some of it. Stand by. Boom. Okay.
Get LifeLock.com.
Set Wood Radio is a preset now on our iHeartRadio app. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit Autolaw.com.
That's Autolaw.com.
I promised we'd have some good news. We do have some on the way. I'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. But also, U.S. forces just hammered Iranian radar and drone command sites overnight. The latest development on this story continues
overnight as we await word on a potential peace deal. President Trump weighing in over the weekend on the status of negotiations with Lara Trump on Saturday.
We're close to a very good deal, and if we can make it good, otherwise we just start up with the Department of War. The one guarantee that I have to have is that there will be no nuclear weapons. They've agreed to that. And it was very interesting. They originally said, we will not develop a nuclear weapon. I said, well, what happens if you buy a nuclear weapon? So now it says we will not develop or in any way purchase a military weapon. That's a big difference.
You see, part of what they're doing right now in this process is working through and walking through the language. And this is a guy who knows deals. He's done a million, he knows every little angle. And it's so funny to me because hearing him describe that is kind of like hearing the negotiations sometimes that happen between me and my kids. I just said, what happens? We will not buy or we will not make a nuclear weapon. Well, what happens if you buy one? Well, it's like, well, we didn't say we wouldn't buy one. They're smart. Those kids are smart. The toddlers, you know how this all works. And it feels like he's kind of got some of the same differences in energy he has to walk through and work out with that whole process, which is
all right. Trey Yingst, he's got the difference now. He makes the difference in Tel Aviv, and he's live with more. Trey, where are we? Hello.
Yeah, hey, Bill, good morning. U.S. forces conducted multiple strikes on Iranian targets over the weekend. According to Central Command, we understand these strikes went after Iranian radar systems and command and control sites for drones in Gorak, Iran, along the coast and on Keshem Island. CENTCOM described the action as defensive in nature to prevent Iran from attacking international shipping lanes and after Iran shot down a $4 million U.S. drone.
By the way, the oil prices are up a tick. But the stock market is actually up too. It's I think we saw, well, it's down a little bit right now. So this all obviously baked in, playing a big role, as we mentioned. This is part of the whole shebang. You have to conclude that, people want this deal done. I think probably some of us more than any, we want the gas prices back down. And yes, I know. You're feeling the same way. We'll continue to call and follow this through and give you the latest updates. He turned 96 over the weekend. Clint Eastwood is 96 years old.
Go ahead. Make my day.
What a classic. And can you imagine 96, everything that he's seen? And it's almost hard to believe. But a big happy birthday to a legend, Clint Eastwood. I believe the birthday was officially yesterday. Hey, the fastest air on radio flies by each and every time. And that's why we started the after show, the show after the show. Folks demanded it. They're asking for it. And yes, we're going to give the people what they want. So that pops off in just minutes. Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, you name it. The iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. Maybe one of the maybe the greatest place to find it, in fact. If you stream with us online, we'd love to have you there. You can listen live or archived each and every day. Make it a great one, folks. Clint Beck is next. God bless.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, and our glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOT Grand Rapids, WOOT FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio,
an iHeart radio station.
All right, folks, stand by. Hang on. All right. Hang on one second. Let me just make sure something. All right, folks, we got a meeting I got to get to at 10:30. So we better get going is what I'm thinking. Let me see if I can reset this stream real quick and if that'll reset the chat. Stand by. All right. Did that do it? Yep. Looks like we've got the chat reset. And as long as you can still see me and hear me, I think we're going to be good. Let me know if you can still see me and hear me. Here we go. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Welcome into the after show, the show after the show, folks. Here we go on the after show. You asked for it. You demanded it. We give the people what they want around here. That's just how we do it. We always have. We always will. Truth, logic, common sense, and a daily dose. In fact, sharing is caring. If you haven't already done it yet, make sure you click share on the broadcast today. Somebody is going to get set up with something really cool from inside the Justin store, whether it's a tee or a hoodie or a mug, you name it. Inside the Justin store, justinbarclay.com/store. We got all kinds of good stuff. And I got goodies coming later this week. The America 250 gear is here just in time to get ready for Father's Day and all that. Now, we don't make a fortune on any of this, but it is a good way to get people talking about the things that matter most and about the program. So when you wear it, you're like on Team Justin, and then you help us spread the word, which is essentially what we're trying to do. Today was sharing is caring. So if you share the broadcast out, yeah, you can pay for stuff. You can go to the store right now and buy. There's great deals. But you can also, in fact, that's probably why we don't make as much, because we're just trying to get this stuff out there and get it in your hands. But we'd love to give you something too. So go to justinbarclay.com/store, pick something out. After you click share, Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, and help us break the algorithm, because it does. It helps us in so many ways to get the truth, logic, and common sense out to people who need it more than ever. Okay, that being said, if I may, let me get into some of the bigger stories. I talked about Spencer Pratt. That election is tomorrow. So tomorrow night, we may have an answer. Spencer Pratt got a prayer in, does he? Does he got a prayer in any of this, in this fight? What's interesting is to watch him interact with people and what we're seeing take place. He's doing all these interviews, but there's some live streams that are coming out. And of course, there's all these ads that are being not posted by him, but other people, which I think is kind of interesting to watch as well. And this is cool. But this is one of these places where he puts an NBC reporter right in his place.
What about people that might say, is this just about self-promotion? Is this just about to get your brand? And man, your brand is hot right now. It's probably hotter than ever right now.
What a sick, twisted, disgusting way to think about things. But it's LA. Can you imagine? This is the way it is.
How do you convince those people that you say, no, I really want this job. I want to change the city?
Yeah, let's rewind. Everything I've ever worked for burned in my house. Everything my parents ever worked for burned in their house. I got on this mission. It was never to run for mayor. I started this to expose the corruption and the negligence of our city leaders. And when I got to the farthest distance I could, where I proved they were obstructing justice, altering after action reports after the fire, and there was nothing more they could do, that's when I organically got in the race, because no one else was going to run. I was never going to be the mayor, but nobody was going to run against her that could beat her. I had to step into this. And again, running for mayor is not fun. Let's be clear. I have to have 24-hour security with the amount of death threats. My kid now has to have a security next to him when he goes in the ocean, because psychos come to the beach to... This is not like, oh, I get to be on a new show. I'm like, oh, I'm Tom Cruise. I'm in Top Gun 3 with Miles Teller. This is not fun, fighting DSA socialists in the city of LA. So
it's funny, though, because the way he has to describe it, there's so many sick and twisted people in the media and Hollywood. And it's funny because, that's kind of like what this news guy's thinking. It's like, oh, man, your brand is so hot right now. It's like, dude, do you understand what was hot? The fire that burned my house down. The fire that killed people. That's what was hot. That's what we're dealing with right now. That's why I'm doing this. But these people don't understand because they live for self. When you are called and you are pursuing something that you are pulled to, it's something bigger than you. It's not about you anymore. By the way, this is sort of the whole point of, the gospel, is that God sent his son. Jesus died for our sins. He saved us. He did something that had to be done to redeem us. And now we're called to go out and live for something much greater than ourselves. And I find that, and I don't know Spencer Pratt's fate. I don't know, but I found that ever since 2020, the people that stood up, the people that had the most courage, the people that did the things like that were counter to the world, like it didn't make sense. Like, you know, you're going to lose your business, or you're going to lose your medical license because you're speaking up, or you're going to lose any influence that you once had, or friends and family members. I mean, look, I've been through it too, but I'm not to the extent that some of these other people have been through. You're going to lose these things? Why would you do that? Why would you speak up and speak out? Why would you risk it all? It's because they see something bigger, and there's a foundation of faith. I don't know that about Spencer. I'm sure maybe he has talked about that somewhere. Maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting it, but it just seems to me that that's something that ties it all together.
Anybody that really is paying attention, politics is not fun. And now I'm deep in politics, fighting a machine that is against the truth.
But I will tell you what's effective is people that have this drive. People that feel pulled, or they feel called into something. It's because they never wanted this fight. They never asked for any of this. They're not doing it for the same reasons that some of these other politico types are. They're not doing it for the same of this, you know, to grow their brand. That's not why they're doing this. They're not doing it to get some sort of publicity for something down the road. That's not what this is. He's doing this because his back is against the wall. He's got no other choice. You save your family, you got to dig in, and you got to fight.
No matter what these people tell you, I don't want people dying on the street. I don't want our tax money going to needles to kill these people. I want to get them in treatment. I want to help them. I want to help the dogs. I have a heart.
Okay, now that's the former reality TV star Spencer Pratt, fresh off a big media.
By the way, that's the latest thing now that they're saying is he doesn't care about homeless people. Oh, so the people that have dumped billions into the homeless plight and literally sucked all that taxpayer dollars into their own pockets without helping the homeless. Those people are the ones that care about, and by the way, they keep them homeless and addicted, and those people die on the streets. They're the ones that care about the homeless, but Spencer Pratt can't possibly care about the homeless. Oh, yeah, and he's MAGA. Well, I'm sorry. They use MAGA like it's a slur, but since when was it, I don't know, radical to say you want your country to be great? You want your neighborhoods to be safe? When was that radical? Was it radical to say, you know, I don't want my kids to have to go to school and worry about them stepping on needles? You have to put them in steel-toe boots if you want them just to play on the playground. When was that radical? Say, I'm worried about my kids getting in contact with some fentanyl, some drug that's been brought across the border, and on the playground, killing the dogs and the kids who come in contact with it. When was that radical? When is it radical to say, look, I just want government to work well. I want them to protect me. I want them to do what they're supposed to do. Make sure you fill the reservoirs. Use that water effectively to put these fires out so that we can save people's homes and their lives. When was that radical? And all of a sudden, we're gaslit into believing like, oh, he's the nut job. Spencer Pratt's the nut job for wanting his kids to have a safe place to play and go to school. Unbelievable.
Splash in New York City, back in California. He wants to be the next mayor of L.A. It's getting a lot of attention. So the candidates all over the City of Angels over the weekend getting in one last pitch before voters head to the polls tomorrow in what appears to be a surprisingly close race. Kevin McCarthy, Californian himself, former Speaker of the House, with me now. And hello to you, sir.
We don't need to hear from Kevin McCarthy. That's... I don't know. I don't know what to tell you that. I mean, I love Spencer, but I at least what he's doing. Who knows? We probably don't agree with each other on everything, you know, and I would be surprised if I agreed with anybody on everything. That's just not the point. That's not how it works. But at the end of the day, I support what he's doing, and I'm thrilled. Tomorrow we'll have answers. I'm kind of shocked. I told people about this over the weekend. If you're on the, by the way, if you get the good newsletter, justinbarclay.com, sign up. If you don't get it yet, I often send little notes and things out like this. I'm shocked that Mike Lindell has extended it, but I'm also kind of not. The Memorial Day mattress sale was so successful. I think he just wants more people to be able to take advantage of it. We had several of you take advantage of the Memorial Day mattress sale. And here's the kicker. Not only do you support Mike with everything you buy from mypillow.com/Justin or mystore.com/Justin, but you also support this program too. So you keep us on the air, but not only that, you help us grow and become bigger because there are things that we want to do and need to do to continue to move the needle. And that is absolutely critical. So I always check. If you need something for the home, check at mypillow.com/Justin or mystore.com/Justin, because you support Mike, you support this program, and then probably the best of all, number 3, you get a great deal on some of the best stuff. I mean, products for your home, for your life. My coffee, mypillow.com, mystore.com/Justin. He's got 50% off on that coffee right now, and I sip on it. The towels for the beach or for the pool this summer. You can see some of the sales they've still got going on right now. The classic My Pillow sale, $19.99. And obviously the pillows, the mattresses, the slippers, the towels. Best towels I've ever used. But Mike's also running for governor right now in Minnesota. You're talking about average person standing up, just like Spencer Pratt, trying to make a difference. And Mike he's an outsider, trying to make a difference. And I think he's got a shot. In fact, the latest polling I've seen shows Mike actually doing very well in Minnesota as a Republican in that race in the primary. And then we've also seen that, maybe he's got a shot when it comes to November. So it's something we'll keep an eye on again as we move a little bit further in, closer into it. But help Mike and support him if you can today. Obviously, help this program as well. Spencer Pratt, now that we're already a day away from election, and we're already getting stories about shenanigans happening with ballot boxes again.
Vote by mail ballots were found burned inside a ballot box in Los Angeles just 2 days before the California primaries. Election officials discovered the damaged ballots, and they filed a report with the police department. They say a separate voting center was also vandalized. Investigators are looking into both incidents and are working to identify any voters who have been affected. And the United States men's soccer vote by mail ballots were found burned inside a ballot box in Los Angeles.
Does this remind you, and it's always the big blue cities, right? Does this remind you of the pizza boxes over the windows again? No, nothing to see here. Pizza boxes over the windows. Does it remind you of that water break or the toilet or pipe or whatever it was? It was in Fulton County in Georgia. Does it remind you of all that? It's kind of funny. And it's like, oh, this is here we are again. This is interesting, is it not? Yeah. Nothing to see here. Folks, that's why it's so important when we move in, not only obviously in this election, but in 2026 in the state of Michigan. It is time, folks, for us to step up and make it, again, like it was in 2024, too big to rig. Too big to rig. I don't know what to tell you other than there is no going back. We've seen that it works. We've seen that when we all get together and we pull. By the way, this is why there's so much division and so much. Maybe I'll do a little bit more on this, but there's a whole load of podcasters going to Russia. This is weird. again, this division, these are people most critical of Trump right now. But you know, there's a whole load of podcasters going to Russia this week. That's strange. These are the people, a lot of, and we get it all the time. The people come in and like, they'll say, well, you're getting paid by, foreign governments or something like that. Oh, I wish, folks, I wish. My little podcast, my little show. Yeah, I'm sure I'm important enough for that. But it's funny because everything we do is bootstrapped. Everything we do here is grassroots. Everything we do and have been able to do is because of you. There aren't any major, by the way, you're not seeing us blowing up on places like YouTube. Look, we know what we've been through this before. They canceled us. They took us off of these platforms. We are shadow banned. But these other people who are, they've made some massive inroads. They have massive audiences right now. I'm sure these people are totally legit, and they're the ones telling you not to trust anyone else. They're the ones going to Russia on some sort of major trip. And again, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but I did see this weekend, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. And it's a handful of the who's who, the people that you would expect. That's all I can say. And what are they doing there? Who are they going to meet there? What money did they accept to show up there? I don't know. I just think it's like there's coincidence, and then there's this. And I can't tell you. I can't. I'm not going to pretend to be inside the minds of some of these people. But this is what I have to tell you. Okay, this is it. Even when it comes from me, take everything that anyone says at this point and realize they may be involved in a psyop, a psychological operation. They may be involved in some sort of influence campaign, and some of them may not even realize it. Although I think that's probably giving them too much credit on some of the stuff. But I'm just telling you, you've got to be careful what these people are saying and doing, because I think there's one clear goal here. It's to divide us. It's to pull people apart. And it is to stop these elections in 26 from being effective. Again, to make it too big to rig, you got to have all hands on deck. Everybody's got to be coming out. Everyone working together. Too big to rig. That's the key. And as you start to wonder, why are we being pulled apart right now? Now, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Kind of makes sense. By the way, here's the Spencer Pratt polling right now. He is leading in the polls. But nobody's going to get to 50% if that's the case. And then I think it'll be a runoff between Pratt and Bass. Question is can Pratt pull it off at that point? I don't know. But this is another way of rigging the game. This is how they've done it. They've done it for years. I mean, this is what they do. This is how they do it. Hey, speaking of good news, I shared last week that incredible footage that came out of Washington, D.C. and the cleanup that Trump's done there for America 250. This is Columbus Circle, I think. Left-hand screen, you see the horrific, this is, homeless people living there, encampments, trash on the ground. And on the right, you see what it looks like today. And it is a complete 180. Beautiful, gorgeous, pristine blue water in the fountains. I actually saw somebody talking about this who was just going on and on and on, remarking about, oh my gosh, I've lived here all my life and I have never seen anything like this before. It's incredible. I mean, that to me, you just, I mean, I know to somebody like you, and you're sitting here like in middle America, wherever you are, and I've heard people say this before, like, who cares? He cleaned up some fountains. The people in Washington, D.C. care. This is incredible. Here's another one, but this is probably from about a month ago. The first time the fountains in Lafayette Park have worked in over a decade. Month ago.
It looks better when the lights are sitting up, too.
This is Lafayette. This is opposite the White House. So there's so much of this, trying to get it ready for America 250. I think this is the video where the woman or the man, I can't remember which one, was talking about
this is crazy. Now, I'm from this area. I've never seen it like this. It's so blue. It is bouncing off the white marble. I've never seen the marble this clean before.
Remember that.
We have two other fountains, too, that have the same blue water.
This is probably somebody that never voted for Trump. And they're having a major moment where they're reacting to this.
Oh, my God. It smells gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. Ah! Oh my God. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, breathtaking.
This is the thing that people don't understand, and they're just going to have to get this. This is a making America great again. This is the idea, America exceptionalism. So many of us, even people in our party and on the right, have kind of given in and thought, well, we can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Those days are gone. We can't do that. That's just not the case. It's just not the case. We ought to shoot for the moon. We ought to be explorers and pioneers. That's what laid the foundation, the groundwork for what made this country so great. Even though, and they are doing their best to tear it apart on a daily basis. Just that spirit that I think is still alive and well in many of us. Or maybe it's dormant, but it needs a little wake up. This is what America is about. And by the way, I'm not saying, just cleaning up some fountains and things like that. No, that's the way it always should be. But we've gotten so far off. We've got so far away from it. Anyway, folks, I talk about that. I talk about this because it matters so much. I think it is such a big deal. I think we need to get back to that spirit of excellence. It's what built this country. That pioneer spirit, that we can do it all. And mostly, I think, because our founders, the people that came here, what brought them here was their faith. And people miss that. But let's not, because it is such a big deal. It's really what drives us all. The foundation of what made this country great, and then the revival that will take place is faith. It has to be. Absolutely has to be. Anyway, fantastic to note and to see all of those amazing things that are happening and going on right now throughout, folks. We got more of it. In fact, in the coming days, I'm sure we'll have more that come out, because they're just blown away. Why? Because in their brains, in their minds, they've been taught, they've been beat down into submission. No, that's never coming back. No, that'll never be. It's just, and they've gotten used to it. And then when they see it changed. And it's their minds open up. Wait a minute. Maybe we don't have to live like this. Maybe we don't have to live in fear. Maybe we don't have to live with crime. Maybe we don't have to live with homelessness, devastated economy. Maybe things can be different. Opening up the minds, the eyes of people to see what's possible. It's incredible. By the way, I know some of you have gotten an opportunity to see what's possible, see what's literally able to happen if you sit down with the folks who know what they're doing. Maha, Missy, and the team at My Pure Health Solution. Story after story, Mike and his wife down about 40 pounds or more. My wife and I the same. And there's so many people that each and every time we talk about this have seen those very same results. Healthwithjustin.com. You go to the website, you'll see the before and afters. Not just me, but so many other people that have taken part in this. Right now, Maha, Missy, and the team doing that America 250 special, 25% off. And you call her today or go to healthwithjustin.com. 269-964-4044. That's 269-964-4044. But do it today. Healthwithjustin.com. 269. Congratulations to Stuart today. Stuart's our winner. Stuart, you got something cool out of the store. JustinBarkley.com. But do it today. /store. Something like a t-shirt, a mug, a hoodie, you name it. Go shopping and grab it. And by the way, for folks that are watching, if you didn't win today, that's okay. We'll do another round tomorrow. And keep an eye out. The America 250 gear is here, or it will be this week. So stay tuned for more. God bless.